to need to make this card is a piece of cardstock. This one is in Blueberry Bushel, and it has been scored at the 14.8 mark there, and it is 10.5 centimeters in length. So this is just my normal standard A-frame tent card, but I'm leaving it at the moment like this, and I'm going to show you how we score so that we can get that Z-fold. You're also going to need 2 strips of the Blueberry Bushel cardstock, and these are 2.5 centimeters in height, and it's just your standard cardstock width. We are going to trim off 0.5 centimeters off those so that they fit beautifully on your card front for your scene, so we'll do that soon. Just some scrap Blueberry Bushel cardstock. This one here, I've attached the label to it because that is going to be our label that we're going to emboss in white. So for this card here, we need 2 of this little dinosaur guy here. One of them is reverse stamped. We need 1 of this one here, which has been reverse stamped. And we've got 3 of this guy here, which has got 2 of the normal stamping with 1 reverse stamped. And I'm going to show you in the video how to do your reverse stamping. All right, some scrap Blueberry Bushel. This will be used for your bushes and your clouds. We've got our pattern paper, so I'm using the Retiring Simply Zinnias. I just loved these leaves and I thought they're perfect for the dinosaur card. But you can use any designer series paper that's got a leaf pattern on it. You could also use the other side, like a geometric kind of pattern if you like as well. I'm going for the leaves. This one is 10 centimeters by 14.3 centimeters. And then we've got our 2 panels. So this was also a 14.3 centimeter piece. But what I've done, and it's still 10 centimeters in length, but what I've done is I've actually cut each of these panels at 6.9 centimeters. I'll just double check that for you because they're at 6.9 centimeters, okay, in the width with the 10 centimeter length. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do those embossed clouds and bushes. And you'll find those dies in the Darling Dinos dies. That one is actually a bush, and this one I think should have been actually a rock, and I've turned it into a cloud. I've also used the dies from, so you need 4 of those. So this is the Forever Forest dies. So these are, I've cut out 4 of those trees, and I'm only needing 2 trees. So I've cut 2 of the bases. This is cut in Mossy Meadow, and this is in Pecan Pie. And I also needed the word raw, so I've cut out the letters. That's from your mini alphabet dies. And last of all is, almost last, we've got a piece of 14.3 centimeter by 10 centimeter. This will be your card, usually it's your card insert. In this case, when you get your card, you flip it over, and the panel for writing is on the back. And so this is for this part here. So we've got our piece that we're going to do there. We've got our 2.5 centimeter strip, and then I've just stamped the dinosaur normally onto here, and then we'll go ahead and color that. Once you've got your standard card size cut in the A-frame, you've got that score line at your 14.8 mark, then you're going to score for your Z-fold. So The Z fold will be a score at 7.4 centimeters. And you just need to run one line there, and that's your Z fold already and scored. The next thing that you want to do is you want to grab those two strips, those 2.5 centimeter strips, and we're going to go ahead now and score those. We will score them at 7.4. So 7.4. And 7.4. So we've got our center fold and we've got our fold, and that looks so much better. Oh, you know what we forgot to do on the new ones? We forgot to trim that 0.5 off. So we're just going to trim that 0.5 off the longer end, so it's not a complete disaster. Okay, and we'll trim longer end, trimming 0.5. Right, now that you've done your scoring, bring your card base back in and go ahead and adhere the panel to the rear of the card, or the back, the main part of the card. All right, and you're going to have a little bit of a border. So when you're adhering, just get your border. All right, and then we're going to grab this other panel and we're going to adhere it to the next panel of the card base. So not the front one, okay? Doing the middle panel. And there's a reason for that, which I'll show you in the very next step. Okay, again, this one's going to have a border. Now we're going to create our little kind of strips of seam. So what you want to do is you want to adhere you only want to adhere the long strip, so not this folded one. So it's the opposite of the card. So you want the long strip here and you want the fold here. Now I just got to put that around that way. Okay, so you want your mountain fold and your valley fold. This one's going to go here, leave again, leave a little bit of a gap, and here this one's going to be adhered right to. So I would probably go ahead and adhere this side first. Okay, so let's do that, and that way we can get our sizing. So we're only adhering on the one panel, so from the edge to the first score line on the 7.4 centimeter fold one. Okay, and then that one there we're going to line up with our paper underneath, and that way we can see what our border should be right across the card. So it's actually very, very helpful. Again, this one needs to be mountain fold, valley fold. Just make sure I got my paper around the right way. Okay, sorry, I did have it around the right way and then I changed it. Okay, so again, just adhere from the edge to that first score line, that 7.4 centimeter score line. And then adhere to the bottom of your designer series paper panel, and looking at the border, looking at a nice straight, there we go. Okay, and so now that we've done that, we can adhere to our front panel. So I should turn around so you can see this. Okay, so to do this, just lift. I'm not sure if you can see. I'll put it off camera a little bit. Okay, so we're going to lift and we're going to adhere from the edge, and then we're going to guesstimate around where we want to go, because what we want to do is we don't want to adhere to this panel here, otherwise the folding mechanism won't work. All right, so lay your card out flat, lining up all your edges, and then just adhere there. Probably a little bit too much glue near the edges. All right, and do the same again. So you want to lift this one here, and you want to glue from the edge and then guesstimate. Okay, you don't want to be going over that edge, you want to be going near the score line. And again, bring it in, and then okay, you can turn it around, just check your edges. All right, when you're happy, just adhere. Okay, that's really good. I'm not too worried about the overflow of glue that's happened here, because I'll show you why. We're going to bring in that panel that we did before, which was 6.9 by 10, and we're going to adhere that over the top of what we just, of our lever mechanism. Where's my words this morning? Okay. All right, and adhere your panel. Okay, and you've got a nice ready-made border, if you like, for folding. Or for borders. Okay, there we go. So how do we make the clouds and the bushes? Okay, glad you asked. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out 4 clouds. I've already got one, so I'm going to cut out 3, but you need 4 clouds altogether, and you need 4 bushes as well. So I've already got one, so I'm going to cut out 3, but you're going to cut out 4. All right, so you go ahead and you die cut those. Now that you've die cut your clouds and your bushes, you want to grab the Soft Waves embossing folder just released by Stampin' Up from the January to April mini catalogue, or any other embossing folder that you've got that's got like a bit of a wavy pattern to it. And you basically want to position your bushes so that the wavy pattern are straight up lines, and you want to position your clouds so that the clouds are going, so that, sorry, the embossed lines are going across. So the bushes going up and the lines on the clouds going across. All right, so set your bushes and your clouds to the side now, and let's bring in our trees. Okay, so we die cut 4 of the large trees from the Forever Forest dies, and we die cut from Mossy Meadow, and we die cut 2 bases from Pecan Pie. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to adhere the Pecan Pie trunk and the first couple of leaves to the trunk of the Mossy Meadow tree. And you want to line that up so that there's no pecan pie poking out from the tree, and there's no mossy meadow poking out from the trunk. All right, and you want to do that one more time, because we need 2 trees. Okay, so again, just check that you've lined it up. Cool. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to trim off the trunk of the mossy meadow, and I just kind of give it a bit of a, yeah, just kind of move my scissors a little bit, so it's not just a straight cut off. That would just look a little bit weird, I think. So yeah, so I've just got my scissors and just kind of cut with a little bit of a wave to it, just to, yeah. All right, you don't need those mossy meadow tree trunks, get rid of them. All right, and we're going to go ahead now and adhere our mossy meadow over the top of our tree, so that we are blocking out the pecan pie branches, and we're left with our tree trunk. All right, now that your trees are all beautifully adhered together, so as you see, I've covered the top fir tree over the pecan pie and you can't see it. All right, so we're going to move those to the side. Okay, before we go ahead and colour our darling dinos, we need to do a bit of reverse stamping. So I'm just going to show you how you can do a reverse stamping with our darling dinos stamp set. So to do that, I'm using a stamp positioning tool and a silicone sheet. You can do it with a silicone sheet on its own. You can do it with some kind of plastic sheet. There are ways that you can do it, and what you need is to first of all organize your placement of your dinosaur. So I was hoping to do it onto that piece of cardstock there. I've got another piece of scrap card here. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to organize my piece of paper. Okay, so the reason I've got the stamp positioning tool is basically so I can line up my edges. And so I'm going to line up the edge of my paper as well, and then just look at the position of my dino. Cool. All right, and then I can go ahead and I can pick that up. If you're not using a stamp positioning tool, just pick that up with your stamping block. Okay, and then get some Memento ink and just ink up your stamp. Okay, so just get a nice amount of ink on there, and then you're going to stamp straight down onto your silicone sheet or your piece of plastic, just the once, and don't press too hard. All right, got a nice little outline there. Bring your scrap piece of paper back, line up your dinosaur, and then slowly lie it down. Okay, make sure you line up your bottom edge before you put it down on top of the ink. I have a feeling that mine might have smushed a little bit, so I'm just going to check that. No, that's fine. That's good. I'm happy with that. Okay, and so that's how you do a reverse stamp. And we're going to come in now and we're going to do some colouring in. Now I'm not going to go ahead and colour all of these dinosaurs just to keep the video nice and short. I am going to colour this one here, and the concepts of colouring are exactly the same for all of them. All right, so let's bring in our cute little dinosaur, and we're going to be colouring in lemon lime blend and also in blueberry bushel blends. Okay, so I've got both of the light and the dark here, and the concept that I use for coloring in is I use light for my major areas, and I will be using dark for some of the smaller areas. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you about the dark first. So we're going to grab the dark blueberry bushel, because this is the only dark one that I'm going to use. It's for the small parts of the dinosaur, and I'm going to be using the thin tip. And all I need to do is the toes, which are in dark. There's also part of the horns that are dark. And that's it. So I will not need the dark blueberry bushel again. All right, let's bring in the light lemon lime twist. And we're going to be using the thick tip this time. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to color in the dinosaur. Now this first coat is really only wetting the paper. Okay, so alcohol markers are really good at soaking into the paper, and it's that soaking into the paper that is assisting us to blend. Now what you'll notice when you do only the one coat, you can see your strokes. And that's because it's soaking into the paper and it is holding your stroke, if you like. Okay, so you'll see where I've gone over the top of areas. Okay, I forgot about the dots, the spots on his back. I'll come back to those in a minute. I'll just finish, because it's really important while you are saturating the paper, it's really important to keep it going. To build up that color, we really need it to be basically it wet from our coloring, especially on this first coat. I'm going to come back now and I'm going to do some of the areas that I want to build up with shading. So underneath here, and anywhere where these lines, dark black lines are, that's basically to indicate where the shading is. And then I'm going to shade where basically there would be shadow. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back over those areas and keep building the color up. Okay, I'm going to continue to build up that color. You're probably doing it about 5, maybe 6 times. And the other thing that I should mention is when I am coloring in with the Stampin' Blends, I have stamped with Memento ink. All right, the next thing that you need to do with your Stampin' Blends is then to go basically over the entire color area that you've just done, and then you're going to start to blend that color in. Okay, so now we're not going to just worry about the shading, but what you'll notice is because of the build-up of color, you can see the lines. So what we're going to go ahead now and do is just blend so that they're not so apparent, the lines. I like to pull in from the darker area into the lighter area. Okay, and so what you're doing is you're looking and you're just seeing how that blending is going, and whether the line is too defined. Keep blending. Okay, I'm going to come back now with our light and our dark blue bushel. And again, I'm going to be using the thin tip. And I'm just going to colour in those leftover spots there. And what I might do is come in with the dark one just on those smaller dots. Okay, and also with the dark one. And then I can come back with the light one. You can see as it soaks into the paper that you start to get the effect that you're looking for. Go with the dark again and just going to darken up those toenails. Alright, so as I said, the concept is the same for all of the dinosaurs that you're colouring in. Actually, so this dinosaur here, you've got the Calypso coral, and you've gone over with the light and then just built that colour up to make it the shading darker. And then gone in with the lemon lime twist, and I've gone with the light ones on those large areas, but I've gone with the dark lemon lime twist for those smaller areas like his toenails, these little nails on his hands, some of the smaller, and then also to do the shading, just a couple of little dots, I guess. And again, with our gorgeous little brontosaurus here, we've got our main colour. So the lemon lime twist is the main colour, and then we've gone with Calypso coral. So we've gone with the dark for those small areas, and then we've gone with the light, but then come back with the dark just to kind of achieve the shading that you see there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and colour in my dinosaurs, but for time wise, you don't need it all. Before we get into the assembly of our card, there is just one more thing that I'd like to show you, and it is how to die cut out your dinosaurs so you get the perfect amount of white around the edges. So what you need to do is you need to have cut out with the die the shape in a scrap piece of paper or cardstock, and then what you do is you place that cut out image over the top of your one that you would like to cut, and then you move it around until you are happy with the white space around your image. And once you've done that, you leave it there, you grab the die, and then like a jigsaw, you just slot it into place. You can kind of feel it there, and then bit of washi tape just to hold it all together. All right, I'll show you again. So this one here, we place it around the image, looking for how much white space we've got, and when you're happy with it, hold it there and grab your die. And all right, and then what you do, lift the pieces together and go and put that through your Stamp and Cut and Emboss. So now that we've got all our pieces ready to go, and don't forget with the reverse stamps that you're going to have to fussy cut those ones out, so they've all been fussy cut. We're going to go ahead now and assemble our card. So we bring back our card base in. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that one right now. And because he's going to be out into this empty space, I'm going to make sure that I'm only gluing basically down the spine and his legs, body and legs. So yep. So obviously I'm recording this in Western Australia and it is our summertime here. And we've been having quite a few warm days, and in fact we were blessed with a thunderstorm and lightning show last night, but it's meant that today has been quite a humid day. So I hope that you are having fair weather where you are, whether that's in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. So what we're going to do now is adhere him to, so we want him standing on the base and then going up. So I'll just check. All right, I did put a little bit of glue over here. And I can just wipe some of that with my hand. Okay, and what I need to do now is put this dinosaur on. I love how these dinosaurs kind of look at each other or away from each other, and I love that you can reverse it so that you can have your dinosaurs looking different ways and doing different things. It's really cool. Now I can glue the entire surface of this one because he's going to go straight onto the card front, and we're going to get him along the bottom, covering up some of that bottom edge, and there we go. Now we can work out where our tree can go. I love that. Perfect. So we also are going to be adhering raw up the top there, and we have got a bush. Okay, so when you get your bush, make sure that the raised surface of the embossing is your top part, okay? And this bush is just going to go over his toe a little bit, and we're going to line it up with the bottom of our paper strip or a cardstock strip. And there will be another dinosaur. This is our reverse stamped one, who is going to be adhered to there. So he's actually going to be over the top of that bush like that. Now, because this dinosaur will be off and have space behind it, so we make sure that we do not adhere the head. We don't want him poking out because we need this to fit into a card, so we want to make sure that that tail is inside our card area, like so. Okay, and we need to adhere our letters up here. Okay, there we go, raw. And of course, raw means happy birthday in dinosaur. I'm not going to glue that on just yet because we need to put on our dinosaur at the back. So now with this one here, we're going to have a bush. So we want to make sure that it is by the side of our fold. So we'll going to adhere our bush and our dinosaur at the same time, because our dinosaur's foot goes behind the bush of this one here. So this is our dinosaur that we'll be gluing on, and he can be glued all over. Don't have to worry about any empty space behind him. Our bush goes on just in front of the fold, lining up the bottom of the strip, and then our dinosaur goes on and the bush is behind, oh sorry, the bush is in front of his foot like that, and we can go ahead and adhere him. And then we've got our tree, so we can have a look at our tree and what we can do. So I'm going to just going to lift his tail, because I've just noticed the tree will need to go behind. In fact, I'm going to lift more of that tail just to let the tree come in a bit more. That's, yeah, that's real. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to go ahead and glue our tree. Now again, we're going to have some branches that are going to be out there, and we're going to cut them. So again, we just want to make sure that we are adhering the right side only, a little bit of the left, but only a little bit. All right, and adhere that to your card base. So lining it up with that bottom strip, making sure your tree is nice and straight and the dinosaur is in front. Okay, now this one is going to go on to our back piece. So I'll just pop him over to the side for a minute. These two pieces have a purpose, and the purpose is because he goes here, but when you close the card, you can see the back of it. So if I was only to glue him there, you would see the back. And so by putting them back to back, you've actually got a gorgeous dinosaur that you can see when the card is closed, and then when you open, you've got the front of him. So we're going to go ahead and do that, but we've got some bushes that we need to deal with first. So we'll grab our first bush. The dinosaur is in front of this bush. Again, being mindful of the fold. And our dinosaur, our reversed stamped dinosaur, will go over the top of that one, and then we'll grab another bush, being mindful of the fold. So that bush is going to go here over the top. Okay, here our reverse stamped dinosaur. Up, nearly did it. So again, open space. I know that we're going to adhere a dinosaur behind it, but I think just for now, let's not adhere there, just in case we get any glue on the back panel. So nicely placed over the bush along the bottom edge there, like so. And we've got our bush that we're going to adhere. That's great. So we'll go ahead and do that one. So just in front of the mountain fold, matching the strip of cardstock like so. Okay, and now we're going to glue this one all over. So he can have glue all over him. Again, make sure that any bubbles are just spread out, because we definitely don't want any glue squeezing out the sides of this one. And so this guy now, we'll try and do it with tweezers, see how that works out for us. So this guy is going to get glued behind. So just, all right, the tweezers are great for getting it behind, but we're going to be using our fingers. The last thing we need to do is to adhere our sentiment. So in the card that I showed you, our sentiment is placed about there. So we'll do that. Okay. And we just really want to check that it's fairly central. Nice bit of spacing and straight. I love how when you light flat that looks great. Okay, and our clouds. All right, so go ahead with our clouds. So we're going to glue on the reverse of the raised side. Help you with this part if you like. Okay, so first cloud, just position it wherever you would like it. Okay. There we go, that was good. And our last one, okay, so the last thing that we need to do with our card is of course trim our tree. So we're just going to put it the reverse, grab our scissors and then just trim those tree branches just by following the edge of the cardstock down. Okay, clean up on aisle 9 here. There we go, flip it over, and yeah, I really like how that looks. And of course we need to do the other panel as well. So again, cutting along the edge of the cardstock. All right, and the last thing that we need to do is to add our back panel. So we're going to bring in our basic white panel and our 2.5 centimeter strip by 14.3 centimeters strip of designer series paper. Just add some glue to that. And then adhere a little bit of gap so a little bit of a gap between the bottom and your designer series paper, and a nice straight line, straight as you can. Okay, and of course bring in one of your dinosaurs that you've done and adhere. Glue all over the back. Flying dinosaur. And then adhere. Okay, you want to ground him, so just adhere to the bottom of your designer series paper so that he looks like he is grounded, and that your legs are straight. From the stamp set, let's stamp "Hope Your Birthday is Dynamite." So just with the stamp and Memento ink, ink that up nicely, and then just straight above our designer series paper. There we go. And glue onto the back of your panel. And our card is completed. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Okay, it took a little bit of time, it took a bit of colouring in, a bit of cutting, that sort of thing. You certainly could do it if you're a beginner. It is going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, but you will get there. And it is a beautiful scene card. Absolutely love that. Remember that this is a exclusive subscriber perk, so please enjoy your little perk for being a subscriber to my newsletter on my Eager to Stamp dinoscraft.com website. All right then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for crafting with me. Bye.